Nubia X is releasing on the market December 11th, and a few people who were able to get their hands on the phone beforehand tried it out. Nubia X is kind of innovative in its own way because it is a phone that is dual screened. So both sides of the screen work, and unlike its, I guess, sister phone, Xiaomi Mi Mix 3, it has no moving parts to uncover any selfie camera. So to take a selfie, you would have to turn around the phone, which is technically the back at this point, but it's still considered to be to be the front screen. So I guess the front screen of the phone is anywhere that you want it to be now. Shape-wise, it looks kind of like an iPhone. It's kind of innovative in its way because it allows both of the screens to be used, and they're also workable. So it's not just that you watch it on the back, you can actually use the back. In other tech news, Not Impossible Labs CEO Mick Ebeling created something that allows deaf people to listen to music, and it is 2 battery-powered wristbands, 2 ankle bands, and a harness that fits across the back and shoulders. The way it works is that it interfaces directly with the venue's sound system and sends electrical pulses corresponding to various tracks in the music to the sensors against the skin. Musicians like Lady Gaga and Pharrell have said this is a really wonderful idea, and they've apparently tried it themselves. The tech is called Music Not Impossible. It's mainly for deaf people who cannot hear music, but I guess with deaf people they're able to feel the vibrations. So it essentially allows deaf people to go to concerts just like anybody else and listen to the music in real time and not have to rely necessarily on a translator, from what I'm guessing at. They said they're still going to continue working on it, and I guess they want to be able to allow deaf people to not necessarily have to be in front of this loudspeakers, so they can get all of it no matter where they're at. Samsung is releasing a new phone in March called the Galaxy X or the Galaxy F. Those are not the official names. One of the most unique features about this new phone is that it's foldable. There are kind of 2 main advantages to this. First, a foldable phone can more than double the available screen space. When it's closed, it is a 4.5-inch display, but when you open it, sort of like a laptop, it turns into 7.3 inches. And I guess with something unique about this is that it gives you the equivalent of 3 displays to work with, and it also unlocks multiple features at once. This new foldable phone display allows users to multitask in 3 areas at once. How that will affect the battery is not necessarily well known yet, and so far there has been very little detail besides the fact that it is able to fold and double the screen space, and it will be released in March. Facebook Portal was recently released, and it's Facebook's answer to Amazon Echo, Google Home, and people are kind of meeting this with mixed controversy. Apparently, the hardware is pretty good. The video and quality is pretty solid. But I guess there is a lot of issues when it comes to privacy. Facebook put privacy front and center in design, but they're not too transparent about what is going on with how they're using their data. So people are kind of on edge about that. Last year, Facebook had a lot of issues and was really under fire with how they used user data. Apparently, the hub might suggest things like calling someone's boyfriend, even if you don't have a boyfriend, or seeing new ads. Apparently, it integrates some Facebook apps like Messenger, and that data used in Messenger informs the ads you see across Facebook, and I guess also takes in from what you say out loud to kind of inform the ads, so people are kind of on edge about that. China's come under controversy recently as millions of Chinese nationals have been blocked from booking flights or trains or even visiting different cities in China after implementing something called a social credit system, which allows the government to essentially rate all of 1.3 billion citizens based on their behavior and activity. The system is supposed to apparently be released in 2020 and aims to, quote, make it difficult to move for those who are deemed untrustworthy. The same system will also reward people and organizations for their trustworthiness. Apparently, people get this rating from things like smoking in public and non-smoking areas, buying too many video games, little things like that, violating traffic laws. It's not entirely well known how they'll see that, so people are assuming China is going to have access to all sorts of things like a bank account, social media, or other ways that they can essentially find people and rate them this way. It's a form of mass surveillance, and a lot of people are really speaking out about it. When the plans for a social credit scheme was first announced in 2014, the government said the aim was to, quote, broadly shape a thick atmosphere in the entire society that keeping trust is glorious and breaking trust is disgraceful. Microsoft is kind of leading the fight in urging governments to enact legislation that requires facial recognition technology to be independently tested to ensure accuracy and prevent unfair bias and protect individuals' rights like privacy.
Change our lives.
But the technology will also have the power to covertly track your movements.
Quote,
moving into a world where machines can follow you around and characterize you based only on your face is worrying because it potentially limits your freedom.
It will even be able to guess your sexuality through facial features alone. In 2018, we'll be forced to face the future.
The technology must, quote, recognize that they are not absolved of their obligation to comply with laws prohibiting discrimination against individual consumers or groups of
The human face has an astonishing variety of features, which not only help us recognize others, but read and understand them through a constant flow of intentional and unintentional signals. It's one of the unique functions that separates man from machine, until now.
I guess using facial
2018 is going to be a landmark year for face recognition because there's